It doesn't matter your age, there's a pretty high chance you've heard the name SpongeBob SquarePants. When the show was first being made, plenty of designs were planned for various characters that never actually made it into the show, and that's what we'll be going over today. First up, it's best to talk about some unused character designs for SpongeBob himself since he's the main star of the show. You're familiar with his name, but did you know that he was originally going to be called Spongebob? Yeah, it's only one letter off, but that one letter changes everything about the name and feels a lot different. Anyway, looking at the design for the very early version of Spongebob will make you understand the differences between that and the one we know today. His Krusty Krab hat is a bit different, having a C on it instead of the normal anchor. Spongebob facial expression seems to be more dramatic and happy, along with drool right under his teeth that we wouldn't normally see. His iconic Squarepants are basically the same as what we know now, although his shoes are really pointy. Like, what even is that? I can't even tell which shoe is which. It looks like they're connected or something. But despite the fact that Spongebob would have an incredibly hard time walking around in those shoes, his design is pretty similar to the SpongeBob we know and love. While we're on the topic of Spongebob, this show was originally called Spongebob Ahoy, as shown in these storyboards from long ago.
Spongebob, me Bob!
It seems like his design resembles SpongeBob almost exactly now, but the shoes are still a lot pointier than normal. Taken from Steven Hillenburg, this is a drawing he made of everyone's favorite dumb starfish, Patrick Starr. Patrick isn't really hard to draw, and it looks like his design stayed the same ever since before the show came out. I mean, you have a slight difference with the top of his bathing suit, and maybe his eyebrows being much closer to his eyes, but other than that, this looks the same as his modern counterpart.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Squidward's concept art was a bit different though. While he has the same design of wearing a shirt without pants, his nose is slightly shorter and he looks a lot fatter. Squiddy, I don't know what you've been eating, but you may want to hold back a bit. In the final design of the show, Squidward is a really thin character, so not sure why exactly they took away the fat aspect to him, but I'm completely fine with it. Although if we're talking about fat early character designs, I have to mention Mr. Krabs. He still cares about money and has a classic suit that he wears to this day, but he's much bigger than how we know him. He'd work really well as a Santa Claus in this form, to be honest. Although I have to point out that the spelling of Mr. Krabs' name with a C instead of a K is physically hurting me to look at. It just seems so wrong now that I'm used to the K. It's basically like spelling Grunkle Stan as Grunkle Stan with a C in it, and that just pains me. You all know Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but have you seen their early character designs of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Bill? Bill is obviously much different from the Barnacle Boy we see in the real show, and his entire body is inside of a log, instead of just having a log on one leg like someone would expect. Mermaid Man looks a lot older, but he has fins in the back, so that's pretty weird.
To the chiropractor! Away!
Either way, I would probably get used to these designs if I saw them in the show, but I'm fine with how they actually turned out as Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give it a thumbs up and comment below to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.